Schematics. All right.
So like, is it recording right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Make sure you write the patch skill down. Right quick. 1.2a, 2.2a.
What is that passion?
It's just a state standard is all it is. They give us an outline of basically the skills that you guys need to know prior to taking the test. Okay? So it's just a good outline for us to follow as teachers. Okay? And so the last couple of years, they have wanted you guys to be more aware of the standards. So we try to implement it more into our curriculum and how we teach things and stuff. So make sure you get the objective too. Students will solve equations involving absolute value. This is probably next to 2.4. It's probably a little bit more involved than some of the things that we've done up to this point. Okay, so make sure you follow along closely and try to get you through it. Okay. Just understand that there's other things on the internet too, okay? There's probably some other lessons out there that could probably help you also, all right? So we'll probably spend the next couple of days trying to get through this. Has everybody got that? Okay. First slide. This is example 1. Okay, example 1 is the first one on there. You should see expressions with absolute value. Does everybody see that? Okay, go ahead and write the problem down. Evaluate absolute value of a minus 7 plus 15 if a equals what? Okay, so everybody understands what absolute value is, right?
Yes.
Okay, one thing that you need to remember about absolute value is when we talk about absolute value, we're talking about distance from 0 on a number line. Okay, how far something is from 0? We're talking about distance. Distance can't be negative, can it? Okay, so distance is always a positive number. What's the absolute value of a number? It's always what? It's always positive. Okay? If I asked you what the absolute value of negative 2 is, you would tell me what? 2. What's the absolute value of 3? 3. It's always positive, right? Okay? So right here, basically all I'm going to do, since A is 5, I'm going to take that 5 and I'm going to plug it in for the A right there. Okay, so replace A with 5, and if you notice in green, it gives you the steps right there. Okay, so 5 minus 7, absolute value, plus 15. What would I do first? Right, we treat absolute value signs just like what? Parentheses, like grouping symbols. Okay? So that's the first thing I need to do. What's 5 minus 7? Okay? So negative 2. Now keep your lines. Okay, now, tell me what the absolute value of negative 2 is. 2. So on my next line, I'm just going to write a positive 2 right underneath it. Okay, then bring my plus down, bring my 15 down, and then go ahead and simplify. Gives me 17. Good. Okay? Pretty easy? Okay. Any questions on that?
No.
Okay, write that problem down. That's probably going to be one of your problems if you notice at the top, as it say. Yeah, so it's probably going to be a CYP problem that you need to be aware of. Okay, I'm not going to work it, but you have seen the problem. So it's up to you to work it. Is everybody clear on that? You should already have a head start on the CYP today. Or actually 2.5 CYP. If you've noticed in the notes, you guys have been taking notes. Have you been seeing more of these? Everyone in the notes should have one of the CYPs. Guess where those problems are at? Yeah. They're on your CYP quizzes, right? So there shouldn't be any reason why you guys shouldn't at least try to have a head start on those, figuring them out. Everybody got it written down?
Yes.
Okay, next slide. Example 2, or actually, absolute value equations. When solving equations that involve absolute values, there are how many cases that we can consider? 2, right? Okay. If you guys understand absolute values, if I have absolute value, I can put a negative 2 is going to equal what? 2, right? What's the absolute value of 2? Also going to equal 2, right? So how many answers could I have, basically? I could have either -2, or I could have +2. It can't, but it's also, I can say something's equal to -2, okay? Because it's always going to come out to be positive, all right? So you can have, there are 2 cases that you can have that you have to be aware of. The expression inside and we're talking about what's inside here. The expression inside the absolute value symbol is what? Positive. That's the scenario here. Case 2, the expression inside the absolute value symbol can be what? Negative, which is this scenario here. Let's see, you with us? Need to pay attention. Okay, so for any real numbers, A and B, if the absolute value of A equals B, then A equals B or A equals what? Okay, so I can either have a positive or a negative inside. It's still going to come out to be the same thing. That's all that's saying. Okay, then they give you an example. Now, the reason why you need to know that is because of this next scenario. Okay, this is example 2. This is the first one, example 2A. Okay, we want to solve 2x, the absolute value of 2x minus 1 equals 7, and then we want to graph the solution set. So, inside of here, it could either be what? It could either be -7, or it could end up being what? +7. We're talking about inside the absolute value. Would everybody agree with that? Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this middle part right here without the absolute value signs or symbols, and I'm going to bring it down here for case 1 and set it equal to 7, a +7. Okay? I'm also going to bring it out the second time for case 2 and set it equal to what? -7. Everybody with me?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, I just solve them the same way. What's the first part? Add 1 to both sides. That 2x equals what? Divide by 2. X equals 4. So now what I'm saying is I could replace x with what? I could replace it with 4. Couldn't I? It'd come out to be a true statement, right? Or, we'll see. It may not be. It may be a different number. What's -7 and 1? Negative what? 6. Divided by 2. X could be also -3.
So you could have 2 positive answers.
They get exactly. So how many possible solutions can I have? 2. In absolute value problems, you're always going to have how many solutions? 2. I could have 4, 4, -3.
So they're going to be on problem.
Okay? Is everybody good on that? Any questions? Okay, so write this problem down. This is example 2B, right underneath it, right? This is not a CYP problem, this is 2B, example 2B. Okay, now, anybody notice something about this problem right off the bat? What's my answer? It's -5, is that possible? Every absolute value is what? It comes out to be positive. So can I have a negative result here?
No.
I can't have that, can I?
No.
Okay, so what would be my answer here?
No solution.
Can't change anything. What am I gonna change?
Well, that's how you know, like, if it's already a no solution.
Right. Just a quick way. There's no way we can have a negative answer in an absolute value problem. You guys understand that? The only scenario, listen to me, because you'll see this later on down the road. The only scenario that will have, that you could have a possible negative answer is if I have this. What if I have something outside of the absolute value? Now, is it possible to have a negative answer? Yeah. You see what I'm getting at? Okay, I could write that as a -10. There's a good chance that I could end up with a negative answer, couldn't I? You see how that works?
So, that is that, then would you just change it to positive?
Yeah, you're gonna have to solve it out then,
Yeah.
just like we did. Okay? Is everybody clear on that? Okay. All right, write this problem down. This is probably gonna be under CYP. This is example 2, should be on the same page. Write it down somewhere, wherever you got room. That way you've seen it. If you wanna work it out later, you need to work it out later. Or you can wait till the CYP. First of all, is it possible?
Yes.
Yes. If my answer is a positive number, it could be possible. Yeah.
So, it's like, in the brackets, or
Absolute value.
the absolute value, if those numbers on there look up there,
It's not gonna matter.
um,
Okay, you're still gonna pull it out. You got 2 cases still. Okay. Everybody got it written down?
yes.
Anybody need more time with that? All right. There's another one. Write that one down.
Oh, we switch to solve.
No. You can wait till later, till we actually take the CYP. Can I solve this?
No.
No,
Is there anything outside the absolute value?
no.
There's probably no solution in it. Okay, good. You guys wanna write that down, or are you good? Okay, example 3. I don't know what this little triangle is. Okay, the average January temperature in a northern Canadian city is 1 degree Fahrenheit. Okay, where would 1 degree be on here? On the number line? Be right there, wouldn't it? Okay, the actual January temperature for that city may be about 5 degrees either warmer or what? Colder. Okay, so write and solve an equation to find the maximum and minimum temperatures. Method 1, write this down. We can graph it. Method 1, we can graph it. Okay, now, what did I say about absolute value? What is it?
Positive.
It's the distance from 0 or distance from a particular number. What's the particular number that they give you right here? 1. So we need to go what? 5 degrees warmer or colder? 5 degrees warmer would be where? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it could be what? 6 degrees, couldn't it? Okay. Or it could be colder, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could be a -4 degrees. You gotta see how I did that.
What, so isn't this like a backwards way of finding, like, what we did earlier?
Yeah. Okay, this is a word problem though, it's a little different though, all right? Okay, so what are my 2 solutions could be? Very good. It could be either -4 degrees or it could be 6 degrees. Okay. All right. Now there's a second method. This is method 2. what would this 5 represent? 5 degrees what? Warmer. Okay, this would be what? Colder. Everybody clear on that? Okay, so my first case, how do I do this? Add 1 to both sides. T equals what? 6 degrees. Add 1 to this side. T equals 4. There's 2 ways you can do that. Me, I prefer method 1. Okay? I think it's the easier of the 2. Okay, that's probably going to be a CYP problem. You write it down if you want to, I don't care. Just to understand it's going to be under CYP. Very good. Example 4. Okay, now a lot of times what's going to happen is they're going to give you a graph, a number line. Okay, and then they're going to ask you to write an absolute value equation. Okay, so the scenario is going to be this. They give you a number line. If you notice how many dots are on that number line, there's 2, right? What you need to do is the first thing, and you may want to make sure that you write this down. I don't know if this is in your notes. I don't think it is. But write this in green on the side. Okay? The first thing that you want to do is what? What does it say on there? Somebody up close, read it for us.
Find the point that is the same distance from -4.
Okay, so the midpoint between -4 and 6 is what? If I got 6 right here and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 1 right there, right? And then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the midpoint is 1 right there. -4 is the low end. The high end is 6. Everybody see that? So what am I looking for? I'm looking for the what? The distance from 1 to -4 is 5 units. The distance from 1 to 6 is 5 units. Okay, so an equation that we can write is, start out with, what are those called? Absolute value. Start out with those. Put your equal sign. Okay, what's it got to equal? What goes here? Okay, that is the distance. Okay, what's the distance? 5. Good. So I'm going to put 5 there. Okay, what goes inside? Start out with y, or any variable. Okay, what was my starting point? 1. The starting point was 1, so you got to put a -1. That's a great question, and I can't answer that. Okay, I don't know. It's just, I think it just has to do with the fact that it's absolute value. Okay,
Isn't it nice because it's going backwards when we're trying to find,
good possibility.
and then if we're doing it like the other way, we're at.
Yeah, but the problem that you have with that is the fact that you're going both directions, aren't you? Okay. Now, I will tell you this. What if my midpoint was a -1? Then it'd be what? Positive. Good. Everybody hear what you just said? Okay. If my midpoint is a negative number, then how do I write it inside? be y plus 1 or y plus
One.
whatever. Okay? Since my starting point or my midpoint is a positive 1, then I'm going to write it as y minus 1 or y negative 1. Is everybody clear on that? Okay. That's where everybody gets tripped up. Okay? Write this problem down. CYP, for example, 4. It's all going to be on your quiz.
Yeah, clear. 其实还有 I can't get the numbers but I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Wrote your 6 backwards. It's okay. They're laughing at you because you're cute. Not because you messed up, okay? All right. Okay, you guys got that written down?
Yes. No. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Question, what is it?
Oh, I don't know why they did that. Just try it as 0. I don't know why they put it as a negative. That's a good question. I saw that on there and I was like, I didn't know how to get it off. As I just cut and pasted from an app. Okay, has everybody got it written down?
Yes.
Okay. You good? Okay, good. Go ahead and go back to the start page. Write down what you think your mastery level might be. Okay. Well, we're grading. What are we grading today? 2.4 or what? Worksheet. Just hang on. I would hang on to that till tomorrow. What I would do right now, if I were you guys, since we just got done doing the notes, what would I do? I do the pair check for 2-5 while it's fresh on your mind. Huh? 2-4 worksheets due today. Work on, right now what I would work on is 2-5 pair check. Okay, which is the next page, right? Yes.
This is sheet 4 words you're gonna be doing at the beginning of the class.
I'll probably give you a little time. How much time do you need? Because we're gonna do the CYP today too. So you might want to work on your 2-4 worksheet.
So like,
Well, yeah, just put 2 in. There you go. Make sure you bring your own sign down. Now here's 2-5 pair check. How many of you are working on 2-4 worksheet? Okay, good. Make sure you get that done. Okay, now on 1 and 2, what do they ask you to do? Substitute what? Yeah, substitute values, right? So you got A is equal to 2, so I'm going to put 2 in there. When I write this down now, make sure that I bring what down? Yeah, make sure you do that. Now, if you notice on this one, it doesn't have what? So can I still solve it or simplify it? Okay. So 2 minus 5 would be what? Minus 3, absolute value, negative 3 is, so 3 minus 1, 2. Okay, what about 2? Put a negative 3 in there, plus 1, negative 3 plus a positive 1 would give you what?
2.
Negative 2, absolute value negative 2. 2 plus 8, what's that give me?
10.
10. Okay, solve each equation and graph the solution set. Alright, how many scenarios can I have?
2.
2. So I'm going to take this inside part right here. I'm going to say C minus 3. It could either equal positive 1, or it could be what? It could equal a negative 1. So we're just talking about what's inside of the absolute value. Everybody clear on that? Okay. Add 3 to both sides. C equals 4. Add 3 to both sides. C equals 2. Okay, so to graph it, how far do I need to go here? 2, 3, 4. I'm going to put a dot on 4 and a dot on 2.
Oh.
Now, if you notice on 3, 4, 5, and 6, can I do 2 scenarios on each one of those?
Huh?
Can I do 2 scenarios? Because none of my answers are what? Negative, right? Think you guys can do the rest?
Yes.
Okay, good. Are you done with 2, 4 worksheets? Good check. You were wrong. Are you done with 2, 4 worksheets? Just make sure you guys are done with 2, 4 worksheets. Or at least work on it a little bit, if you're not finished with it. On the 2, 4? Last two? Okay. What's the question? Is tripling the greater of 2 consecutive even integers? So what are my 2 numbers going to be? The first number is going to be what? N. What's my second number going to be? N plus what? 2. Consecutive, even. Now, if I'm going to triple something, well, how would I do that? Multiply it by, if I'm going to triple something, multiply it by 30. Okay, so it says, what are you tripling? Okay, so which of these 2 do you think is greater? N plus 2 has to be, right? Okay, so I'm going to triple that, which means I'm going to go 3 times N plus 2. Okay, gives the same, what would I put right there? It's the same result, equal sign. Subtracting 10 from the lesser. Is the order important? Because you're dealing with a negative number, right? There you go. Okay.
Four.
What about 10? This is like the one you had on Craigslist. Instead of putting L, what would I put? You know what P is? You have to do, they give you a number value for it.
24 inches.
Okay. We'll put 24 for P. What would I put for L? What does it say L is? Yeah, but it says it's 3 greater than, okay, so instead of putting L, what would I put? I put W plus 3. And now what was the whole point in doing that? How many variables do you have here? You got 3. Can I solve it with 3 variables? We got P, you got L, and you got W.
So what's the multiplying? P times.
Yeah, how many variables do you have here?
2.
You have 2, but they're both the what?
Same.
The same, aren't they? So we just consider them as 1. So 1 variable there. Can I solve it
Yes.
with just 1 variable? Now, remember too, what is it asking for? Okay, so now, if it's asking for the dimensions, how many answers am I gonna have? I have 2 answers, right? Length is equal to, width is equal to. How would I find the length?
2 times 0.
No. Once I find the width, then I add what to it? Once I find W, then how do I find the length? By adding 3 to it. Because what does it tell me? That the length is what? 3 inches greater than the width. So I gotta add 3 to it at the end, right? Once I find out what W is. Everybody got it? Okay.
Down.
How much time is it?